Hey guys, welcome back to take 2 of this video because sometimes me and technology don't get along and I throw them out a second story window. But on a serious note, I do want to acknowledge that our country is very broken. It was created on stolen land, built by slavery, and has a very long history of violence, domestic and internationally, and has ultimately led to systemic racism. I fully stand behind the Black community. Black Lives Matter. There is not much I can do with this platform so far. It's just a little baby. I will link a video in the description that you can watch. You don't even have to leave the app, leave your house, let it play, make sure your ad blocker is off, and you can help the cause. Welcome back, you guys. It's me, your favorite weirdo, here to deliver you the weird stuff. So today we're going to dive in real deep with Tom DeLonge and his company To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science. Now, Tom and his company have been making big moves. They are the reason that the government has finally admitted to the existence of UFOs for the first time in history. They are the ones who are briefing the Senate and members of Congress on these issues. And Atlantis and the Greek gods kind of intermingle into all of this. Let's get weird. So I'm going to rewind a little bit for those of you who don't know who Tom DeLonge is. Pam. So Tom is Bay. Tom has been Bay for a very long time. Tom used to be Blink Bay from 1992 to 2005. Then Tom was Angels and Airwaves Bay from 2005 to present day. Then Tom became Blink Bay again from 2009 to 2015. And Tom has always been Alien Bay, at least since he was in junior high. So, hopefully that clears things up. It was when Angels and Airwaves was formed when Tom saw the need for a multimedia company to help support the multifaceted aspects that the group was trying to produce. And it is seriously impressive, the avenue that Angels and Airwaves has taken, which I'm sure has been done to some extent before. Let me know in the comments if you guys have heard of anything like this. I know they were inspired by Pink Floyd, but I don't think anybody has ever reached this level like they have. So basically, they create music, but also on top of that, they have created sort of like their own universe around that, including they have stories, they have docu-series, they have animated shorts, they have comics, and they have books. And this is technically fiction and inspired by the imagination of Tom DeLonge. But Tom has come out and said that he had to get the government's permission to include things that are in this book. And that was one of the reasons that led him to talking to our government. So how does a production company become the liaison between our government and the people in regards to the existence of alien life? Well, not that easy, if you ask Tom. In multiple interviews that I watched of him, he basically broke it down like this. He has been studying outer space and the beyond, alien encounters, UFO landings, government spending, doing all of this research, and put some things together, played some pretty high-ranking people off of each other, which led to conversations with even higher and higher-ranking people, to which he said, hey, I know these things, I figured it out, you guys suck at talking to people, and I have this service that I can offer you, and I want to help. I would also like to add that Tom also talks about how these conversations got him into some pretty serious and scary interrogations in order to get some time with the higher up people. It doesn't come with no cost, But in a nutshell, that's pretty much how you get in with the government. Don't try this at home, kids. In an effort to not make this an hour-long video, I will not be listing off everybody who works for Tom and their experience because one, it's just too much and I will run out of breath. And two, all it takes is going to his website and scrolling down and it lists everybody and their experience. I will mention that all of them are extremely qualified hard hitters, and most of them came from some sort of branch of government, including the CIA, NSA, DOD, NASA advisors, Skunk Works, and the former deputy assistant to the president. So To the Stars is broken into 3 divisions. They have entertainment, science, and aerospace. And in one of the interviews, Tom says that they are active in 3 different ways. One is getting stories out to the people. 2 is researching these with the people, studying them with the people via databases and algorithms. This technology that he's talking about is part of the aerospace division. And what he said, if I'm correct, is that they're building an anti-gravity technology spacecraft. Also, something called beamed energy propulsion, and this technology will help us move through time and space. It's a pretty big freaking deal. And if you are interested, you can now buy shares of his company for $5 a piece. I looked into it. I was interested. But unfortunately, the lowest amount you can invest is $750, and your girl just doesn't have that right now. But if you're interested, it is all on his website. So I think this is actually really brilliant the way that he has his company set up for the purpose of getting the truth out to the people. Because what better way besides media, sort of manipulation, like the government has been doing for so long. And if you don't think that the government has been controlling the narrative that they want through movies and Hollywood, then you haven't been paying attention. Tom actually confirmed this by saying that the government created the conspiracy atmosphere because they weren't ready to come out to the public about this because they were still learning from it. So the way that I see this going, and if I understood Tom and how he was trying to explain it, is that stories will get written, docuseries will get created, all of these forms of media with, some truths and some not truths to sort of ease us into what is going to change our lives forever, honestly. When they do this, it's probably going to be pretty subtle, but probably still mind-blowing. And they're not going to give us all of it. They're not going to let us know all the information that they have. And Tom believes that just because we are citizens and we think that we want to know doesn't mean that we should or that we're entitled to it. And it's not for the reasons that you may think. So Tom has this saying for all of the naysayers or all the people who have laughed at him over the years, even though he continues to get proven right. He says, "You don't know what I know." And he says this so confidently and so matter-of-factly that it's scary. And I take him seriously. And throughout the interviews that I watched, when certain things get brought up about maybe the seriousness of it, there's flashes of terror or little micro expressions that I picked up and could see in his eyes that he is not joking around about this. This is not something that can be joked around about. Like, this is serious and this is scary. it did make me like step back for a second and really like analyze like, oh, well, do I want to not be able to sleep at night just to know what I think I already know? Or don't get me wrong, of course I want to know. I've always want to know. I've always been drawn to the unknown and wanting to figure it out. It just makes it a little more terrifying now. Especially after Tom explained that not only may we not be alone here, we may not even be in charge. But if we aren't in charge, like, I want to talk to who's in charge because this shit is fucked up. Before I wrap up, I did want to touch on what Tom had mentioned in his interview with Joe Rogan, which is that he believes that Atlantis was populated by a certain alien species, driven out by a cataclysmic event. Some of them stayed behind, and those are who we consider the Greek gods. What? This is crazy. And also ties it in to Roswell when there was Greek writing that they found on the aircraft. I'm going to have to do a little more digging into that, but that is crazy. Not like crazy like that's not true, but like crazy like, oh my God, if it is true. So I believe that To the Stars has the capacity, the ability, the everything to be able to provide the service that we need, which is to introduce us to the fact that we aren't alone and the human race isn't alone and there are other beings out here. They're doing such a good job. In fact, they're making it look easy. If only the state of our world and the relationships with other humans were that easy. But just like any real difference that has to be made, it has to go through legislature and it has to go through red tape in order to enact change. That's what needs to happen with our current climate, and that's what's going to happen with Tom and his company in order to release more information out to the people. And maybe having to face something out of this world could potentially bring us all together and help change the way that we see each other. I hope for the best. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click the bell if you want to get notified for future videos. I think the next video I'm going to do is about there being evidence of a nuclear war on Mars. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Thanks, guys.